Hey everyone, welcome back to the M&R Show. I'm Ron.
And I'm Malcolm.
You see, we got a special guest, NFL PA man, and resident Steelers fan. So, we're gonna be getting to a little bit of draft talk today. KT, what do you think about the first 3 picks that the Steelers made?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. Always a fan of you guys watching, do what you guys do. But I'm not gonna lie, man. You know me, I tuned into your IG live for the draft, and
Lit.
I didn't want to. I listen. I was upset, and I wasn't upset with the Kenny Pickett pick like some of my other Steelers fans were. I was upset with the pick in general. I felt like we shouldn't have picked a quarterback right there just because we paid Mr. Trubisky. So I feel like we should have stayed invested or committed to our investment and just let that bridge quarterback situation play itself out and see what the talent pool has for us next year, because everybody knows that next year, more than likely you'll catch a good quarterback in the late round because there's a lot of talent coming out. But at the end of the day, you got to embrace the guy. He's a pick guy. I've gone on Twitter multiple times during the collegiate season saying I would love for Kenny Pickett to play for the Steelers. But, that was before we wasted $10 million on Mr. Trubisky. But taking all that into total consideration, I love Kenny, man. I love the pick. I love that, he was the best available quarterback for us. He's day one ready, as everyone keeps saying over and over and over. He ran a pro-style offense for a little bit because he had a past NFL offensive coordinator as his coach and at Pitt. So he's cool, and I watched a little bit of documentary about him just to kind of dive into the background of him. He's a Jersey guy, He's really a grit and go-getter kind of person. I think he'll fit well in the Pittsburgh situation. And I think it's only time will tell. We'll see what the competition, will play in this coming mini camp and off-season OTAs and all these things. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited about it. I can't lie. Like I say, I'd rather have that than been on one leg, one tire, flat flailing out there, man. I'm serious. I'd rather have much younger talent, and I'd definitely rather have that than Mason Rudolph. So I'm 100% okay with that. But to move past the hot topic, for me, I feel like the steal of the draft for us, George Vickers. You call it what you want, man. This dude's a dog, through and through. And he had an injury. He had an injury, take him back, a little bit in Georgia. But a lot of people say he showed a lot of tenacity, not just ending his season and saying, I'm going to just work out and head into the draft. He actually came back and played some snaps for UGA in that title run they had. And he wasn't really too heavy in the game plan, whatever. He didn't have too big of an impact, but he still came back from an injury and showed that, I'm healthy, I'm good. And I heard his pro day was phenomenal from what Mike Tomlin says. He didn't show any signs of health degeneration or anything like that, going down, anything like lingering. And he did get in a car accident before, the draft. So a lot of things have been gearing around his character and whatnot, but we'll figure that out. Mike T's a great head coach and a great guy that can rein in guys' egos and get them to buy into a system if they really want to take that next level and step of seriousness in the NFL. So I love that. And our third pick was a dog. We got the Marvin Neal, I believe it was. I believe that's who it was, defensive end. And he had flashes of being a first-round pick. A lot of people say he was a guy that could have gone first round, and sometimes he played like he could have gone fifth round. And the biggest challenge for him was consistency. So one thing I like to attribute consistency with is leadership. So we got some good captains on that defensive line, and Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt's coming back, and then of course you got defensive player of the year, TJ Watt, that will come in and be a great leader to him and help him with technique and just how to be a pro. And I think that plays into a lot of situations. When guys get drafted, it's not about, your talent per se. It's about, a lot of times, the locker room you're going into, the personnel coach you're going to have, your position coach, those guys in there that locker room with you. Are they willing to help you? Are they willing to help you grow? Or are they just going to handle it like a business and just keep moving forward and collect a check? And that's not something we do in our culture. So I'm just really excited for this young guy, for him to come in and really see what he can do on defense. I will say one thing about our draft, though. I'm very, very livid we didn't get a corner. I'm very, very upset. I feel like we could have grabbed something, McDuffie, something, I feel like, in those rounds. But it's okay. I'm cool with it. Hopefully we make some more moves in the offseason or train up the guys we got. But I have faith in the younger guys. They got some dirt on their shoulders last year, so they'll come in this year ready to play. And Terrell's on a 1 year, so hopefully he comes in ready to earn a new contract.
Yeah, that was definitely mine. So I actually was thinking like, dang, I wish they would go corner first round, because I still think a quarterback could have came second round. I mean, we saw Malik Willis didn't go to the third round. Like we know he isn't starting year one, but I think that's why Trubisky is. I think that would have made me like the Trubisky sounding like actually like 10 times more. Because you have Trubisky and you have Willis in the second round. You're like, oh, Willis, you don't have to play for I don't want you touching the field for a year. You're a clipboard guy. Even if somebody goes down, you still have Rudolph. Like, I wouldn't even put him on the field, period, for injury, no reason. He's a clipboard guy for the first year. I think that would just made me like to pick way more. But at the same time, what I can say about the Steelers is that this was a very Steelers draft. Like, everything they did was fit on brand. And I think as media people, analysts, it's like we do grades based on what we thought was the best selection. But at the same time, this was with if I would have looked at the Steelers draft, this is what they probably thought was an A. Like you said, Pickett, Pittsburgh guy. He's the most pro-style ready quarterback. I think that's undeniable. Him or Ritter, at least. He comes literally from the same area. You know he can play in the cold. I mean, even though people talk about the hands, he literally already played in Pittsburgh. Like, if he was going to have that problem, he probably would have already had it. So then, I don't know. Then the second round pick, George Pickens, you call him a dog. He's literally was a bulldog at Georgia, at the champions last year. Played great. I think he's an X-receiver. I was confused with that in Claypool, but people were telling me Claypool doesn't have to only be the X-receiver to be effective. So I'm like, all right, I can see that. And Claypool's also he ran 4.3. So he can do multiple things besides just be just a deep threat. Then the last thing, Marvin Liao, for one, coming into the season, PFF had him as a top 5 pick. Now, of course, he didn't play up to that well. That's why he fell a little bit. But still has a lot of talent. And with Cam Hayward and Tuitt getting old, they've already put that in play. Just like the Eagles did when they drafted Cam Jurgens and they still got Kelsey. Like, you're already putting that in play. So overall, I think the draft was bad when I looked at it from just a Steelers management perspective. I thought it was pretty good.
Right. Well, yeah, when you look at the first 3 picks, like you say, yeah, but I feel like you look at the whole draft, I feel like I wouldn't give it an A. Definitely not. I would more gear towards a B because we definitely went a little high on Cam's brother. I don't feel like we need a fullback. We have TJ Watt's brother. That doesn't make sense to me at all. He was just in the Pro Bowl a couple years ago. Fullback is kind of an obsolete position anyway nowadays, so it's not really something that I'm excited about drafting in the 5th or 6th round, especially when we need corners and we're consistently neglecting that position. So when you look at the first 3 rounds, yeah, you're right. It's on page, it's on book. With everything, but I can't get with the rest of it. We just can't negate that corner position. But you definitely hit it on the head. We hit that on brand draft picks for sure.
Malc?
Hey yo, no, most definitely. When you look at this Steelers draft, I mean, there's a lot of good pieces. I mean, I was talking to Mont, and I was telling Mont that we're getting a guy like Kenny Pickett is not that bad. I think that Kenny Pickett could be a average starter in this league. I'm not expecting anything better for him. I don't think that he should have been a first round pick. At the end of the day, it was not a bad pickup, to be honest, if you talk about scheme fit and what he can be able to provide for this offense. Especially with the second pick, as far as getting a receiver, George Pickens. Chase Claypool, as all good he is, he hasn't developed as route running his first 2 years. I guess the Steelers are understanding earlier in advance that we got to do something. We got to find somebody who can be able to give, that second round pick, because at the end of the day, Chase Claypool hasn't done anything, and he's been adding extra drama. And Steelers, they've been in that. They understand what they got going on. So they understand that they need to find somebody. I think that was a good pickup. And especially with Leo, the D lineman, I think that you need to find depth. You got your guys getting older on the defensive line. And, I've always said something about that Steelers defensive line, how it's getting older and how they need to win now and stuff like that. But adding extra depth would actually be perfect for the Steelers. Now, I don't know that they're going to be a playoff team, but they might be still a solid team with a guy like Mitch Trubisky as starting quarterback at hand. I don't understand. I think if you get a guy like Kenny Pickett is more of he could start day one because he's just a good quarterback, not great quarterback. And I think that he can be able to compete with Mitch. But I mean, Mitch got a $10 million deal. That's more of a backup contract. So it's not really hurting Steelers as far as production, money, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not hurting. When you put in a grand scheme of things, yes, but when you look at it as a free agent signing, I feel like when we just signed Terrell to a 1 year, and then we signed Mitch, that's 10 mil right there. Those are both contracts and millions we could have saved and potentially gave to the Honey Badger. You know what I mean? These are the weapons we could have potentially gave to Stephon
This is
Gilmore.
true.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's call it spade for a spade. It's Kevin Colbert's last year. You know what I mean? And another thing I want to bring up, I feel like he kind of made the Pickett over Willis just based on the whole Dan Marino argument. You know, guys, we didn't want to. Kevin Colbert didn't want to go out making the same mistake that the Steelers greats made back in the day, not drafting Dan Marino, passing over Dan Marino. So that's something that was in communication and flowing around the network, saying that they didn't want to make that mistake again. So seeing that, hearing that, I just, like you said, Malc, his floor is low. That's what I'll say. Kenny Pickett's floor is low. You know, I mean, his floor is high.
You have higher ceiling for Mac. For Malcolm, you can do commanders after this. Higher ceiling. This is your last thing. KD still is Mac Jones. Kenny Pickett. I mean, me and Malcolm won't even comment on it.
Okay. Are we saying, all right, well, it's
ceiling.
Easy to, if we're going to call it the way it is now, higher ceiling, I feel like would be Mac Jones because he has Bill Belichick. But the way Bill Belichick is going, if Bill Belichick leaves or anything like that, and it's just pure based on quarterback versus quarterback, then I think Kenny will have a better shot. But it's hard to make that argument right now because you have a sample. Mac Jones played phenomenal his rookie year. You know what I mean? For him to be a rookie quarterback coming out and everybody thought he was going to be a bust, you know, he came out and he played very, very well. So you take that into consideration, it's almost ignorant to even consider Kenny Pickett up there. I mean, I still want to see how he plays in the NFL with 2 gloves. Like there's a lot of question marks around him. I'm not going to lie to you. And the Chase Claypool thing is hilarious too, because he went out and drafted his replacement almost. But I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to just, I think Mac Jones probably has a higher ceiling. But like I said before, I think Kenny Pickett has a high floor, which is why I'm excited about him, because he can't mess up with so much and he can do better than Ben. So I think we'll be a playoff team. I don't know why Malc said we wouldn't. I don't know why he's saying the things he says. Once again, he's trying to rile me up. And you know what I'm saying? I don't get it. He said he wouldn't make the playoffs.
Well, his team's next. Let's go,
Malc.
Got your 3 picks.
Hey, man. We definitely gonna talk about the Washington. We love the documentary about the Steelers. We love it. We definitely love it. We definitely love it. So we know.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna talk about Washington now. You know, I think what Washington did was, you know, when we had the trade with Carson Wentz, we took away our 3rd and 4th round picks. So be able to trade back in the 1st round was actually a plus to be able to gain that 3rd and 4th round pick back. You're looking at Jahan Dachshund that we picked up 1st round. This is a guy that can be able to be inside and out. He's going to be projected as a slot receiver for us, and he's a guy that can be able to return punts, something that, you know, DeAndre Carter was able to do for us last year. He went to the Chargers. I think that it was a little bit of a reach, but it was a pickup that you need to have basically with all these wide receivers coming off the board quick, fast, in a hurry, especially during that little time that Washington had. They were coming off the board. And I knew Green Bay would have loved to pick up this guy and Jahan Dachshund. So I'm glad that Washington was able to pick him up. And he's a 4-4 guy. 4-4 with him, Terry, and Gibson, and De'Ami Brown, speedsters. It's going to be scary. But let's understand about the 2nd round. The 2nd round, I think this was more of a reach in a way. But I understand that we had to really target our defensive line based on the fact that this guy really fits with what we really need. We really need to run stuff. We have a lot of pass rushers on our team as far as defensive line and everything like that. So adding a guy like Mathis from Alabama was actually a very good addition based on the fact that there's been rumblings about Darren Payne and his contract and how I don't think Washington's going to be able to try to sign him back and stuff like that. I knew that Washington's not going to be able to sign this whole defensive line. Somebody had to go, and it's looking like Darren Payne might be the most reliable option. And to be honest, it might be a good choice because this defensive line has the pass rushers. We need somebody who can run stop, who can occupy the blockers, who can take on that double teams. And I think that you got a guy like Mathis, he can be a potential guy that can be able to start. And then, you know, the 3rd round, we have Brian Robinson. This one was something that I just wanted. He's from Bama, running back from Bama. This one I was a little iffy about because a couple of things. Because number one, you know, this guy, you know, we already have running back duo of Miss Kissick that we signed back, and we had Antonio Gibson, and then we had Justin Patterson over there as our 3rd. But I think one thing that we had to realize about Washington's, what they were struggling in short yard situations. They let go Peyton Barber the year before, and that had problems with going on. You bring in a guy like Brian Robinson, who has that, you know, big dog mentality. He's been able to sit down with so many good running backs that came through Alabama, and he has his leadership. He was captain last year. Very good qualities that Ron Rivera likes seeing guys. And then another thing is, I think that since that we picked him up early in the third round, he has the opportunity to be able to compete with Antonio Gibson at the starting spot, which is crazy. But at the end of the day, Antonio Gibson with his fumbling problems last year was really bad. So I think you add a guy like Brian Robinson, you can add competition to it and maybe have a starter. You never know. KT. But I love my Washington picks. So what about you, KT?
Oh, yeah, man. You guys didn't surprise me at all. You did absolutely nothing spectacular. You made absolutely no serious moves. And let's not lie, you had to watch a full 24 hours of film on Dotson in order to fall in love with him and convince yourself that he was a good pick. But I will say one thing. One thing I'll applaud you guys on is you could have done way, way worse. And there's a team in your division that did do way, way worse. But we'll get there. That person is, up next, so we'll let that marinate. But I do like the run stop. Like you said, with Payne, you told me the contract. It was confusing to me, and then I called you. You're my insider on the Commanders, and you told me the whole contract dispute, and it made sense to me after that. So I love that pick. Everything else I feel like was just, on profile for you guys, not trying to make too big of a reach, not trying to make too big of a risk, but it was a decent draft for you guys for sure.
All these guys was high ceiling guys, not high ceiling, high floor guys. High floor guys, limited type ceiling. We didn't really try to find somebody that was really going to bring that, kind of potential to be really big. We found somebody who's going to be good right now, who's going to start for us. And I think that's what we need. We have too many. We need players that's going to be able to produce now. We can't really wait. So I think that's what we did, to be honest, in this draft.
Yeah. And I feel like also you guys got a lot of question marks. Like you guys need to figure out who's going to play and who's not going to play. Who's going to play well, who's not going to play well, who's going to gel, who's not. And that can't come into play when you're bringing in big personalities, big egos, big ceiling guys. So you're 100% right.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm knows I hated the draft that the Commanders had. I tweeted every second of it. Like every single second I laughed, I think, at every single pick. Like there was not one pick. I'm like, you know what? I'm jealous they got that person. Like not one time. I think Dotson is going to be good. He was my wide receiver 8 though. So to get him at 16 was like, okay, like this is a W for everybody in the NFC East. Like, I mean, not saying he's going to be a bad player. Like Malcolm said, he's a 4'4" player, but he's 178 pounds. So when you're 4'4", you're 178, that's not as impressive. You were 4'4", you were 210 pounds. We need to first, I think, put that in perspective. He did play, like Malcolm said, he was 70% on the outside in college. I don't see that in the NFL. It's going to be tough. Could he be a Z? Maybe. I mean, especially with the way the Z is used in today's NFL, I could see that. I think he can really dominate if they just play him in the slot at least 80% of the time now. I think that gives him a chance for that pick to really work out. So I think that's what they should do. The D tackle pick. The first is the two Bama picks. I didn't like. First, these are guys when you watch Bama you don't see on the tape. Brian Robinson, out of all the running backs the last 5 years of Bama, he is the least impressive one. Like by so far. Even next year, it's going to be a better running back for Bama. So it's just like, I don't know. Think of that. Now Malcolm did say that he does fit what they need, which is physicality. Because we talked about the receiver room, they're fast, they have no physicality. Cam Sims, another Bama guy, is the physical guy. So if Cam Sims is your only physical receiver, that's probably not the best. And then Brian Robinson is now your physical runner. So I understand he does fit that need. What is Mathis, I think is the last name?
Yeah, Mathis.
Yeah, like that he's not gonna pop off the tape. Like that's a scouting tape that us three are just not gonna be able to understand because he's deeper than what we can see. Like it's
for sure. But the Mathis pick, I'm an LSU guy, so I know a little bit more about Alabama, just how to spike. So the Mathis pick, he was a defensive captain. He's a locker room guy. You know what I mean? And he's a straight anchor. You know what I mean? So he's not one of those guys that's gonna go out and get you, you know what I mean, 12 sacks a year at that position. Absolutely not. But what he's gonna do is clog up 2 blocks and clog up 3 lanes. What he's gonna do is allow your linebackers to flow free and fill those holes. You know what I mean? So the things that don't really pop out on tape are his intangibles, and his intangibles are through the roof. So that's one thing Alabama produces on defense is those guys that have, 1, a high IQ, and 2, the ability to make the play that doesn't show up on tape. You know what I mean? Like that like a hockey assist. You know what I mean? Like the extra play you have to make so the next guy can make the next play so we can win as a team. So I like the pick. I see him as a Steeler myself. I would have saw him picking him up maybe in the 3rd or 4th round. But I do like the pick for you guys, like I said.
Yeah, one thing I can do, one quick way. If you look at this, Mathis is not here. We're not picking Mathis for any splash plays. You've seen last season, we had a lot of guys trying to get to the quarterback. So it created so many lanes and stuff like that. We're trying to find guys who's going to do the dirty work to get guys open, and that's what we need. We don't need nobody that's going to try to get the quarterback. We already have too many of those. We need somebody that's going to be able to do the dirty work, and that's what Mathis provides.
Yeah. Okay, now moving on to America's team, everyone. Since we had to wait for the team to,
Hey, ain't nobody cares about it too.
We had to wait so long.
Well, go ahead. Nobody cares. But go ahead. Talk about it.
Wait, before you start, before you start, how y'all go from the best team to the worst team in the division?
I think we still have a chance to win it, though.
I mean, yeah, your division, everybody got a chance, technically.
Well, explain your draft, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think I gave on Twitter, I think I gave us a B- on the draft because I like a lot of the picks. I don't like necessarily where they were taken, which is the point of the draft, by the way. So you have Tyler Smith, the first pick, led the whatever conference he's in penalties. Also led whatever conference he's in run blocking grade. What do I take away with that? I mean, that's a tough evaluation, right? Again, these are sometimes just deeper picks than a non-scout is gonna be able to understand because you have a 98 run blocking grade, but then you have the most penalties in your conference. But then I guess he was a left tackle, now he's supposed to be the left guard, and they're saying a lot of his issues is based on him being a tackle too young at 19 and 20. He just turned 21 last week. This is a really young player coming to the NFL. It's crazy because a team actually tried to jump Dallas for the same player, which is insane to me because I thought he was not supposed to go to early 2nd round. But I thought this seemed like a Jaguars at the first pick of the 2nd round player to me coming into the draft. I think actually me and Malcolm might have mocked them one of our picks to the Jags in that round. So didn't love that pick, didn't hate it. I gotta see what happens. We need the Cowboys have been getting pushed around for years. I think they're just trying to get more physical in the trenches. So I think that's the first pick. Sam Williams, Ole Miss. I liked the player, did not love where he was selected. I thought he was a top 65 player in the draft. He got picked at 50 something in the draft. Not the worst I've seen, but not the best. So with Sam, skinny kid, about 250 pounds, again, a 90 rush pass rushing grade. So clearly the Cowboys are targeting traits. He ran a 4.4. So now you have Micah 4.3, Sam Williams 4.4. So these are two of your speed rushers. We know what Dan Quinn does. He's a Vic Beasley guy. He's a Dante Fowler guy. He's a speed rusher. Bruce Irvin. This is what he does. So I'm not surprised to pick. Dan Quinn literally already. Sam Williams on an interview said he came into the draft knowing he was going to get picked by Dallas in round 2. So clearly, no matter who was on the board, this was going to be the pick. Take what you want out of that as well. Then for the 3rd round, we have Tolbert, my favorite pick, gave it an A+. Can't believe he was there at 88. That's the only pick I think that we stole a player at that I was really happy about. 3-2 wide receiver, 4'9", 6'1", is going to come in and can be a wide receiver 3. That's all we need. We have our physical guy. We have our versatile guy. And now we have a guy that's, again, can play slot or the outside. They're both in college. Had over 3,000 yards the last 3 years. All it did was produce. Went to the Senior Bowl, was one of the best receivers at the Senior Bowl. I remember when I was watching, I think it was 2 months ago. So I'm just really surprised he fell to the 3rd round. Usually Senior Bowls have like risers. I thought he was the riser at the Senior Bowl because he went to a small college. So I was surprised at that one, but I think that's my little evaluation. I mean, I think I gave a little breakdown why everything was happened. Was I smiling? We talked about that on the live that none of us left smiling after the live. But I wasn't frowning either, so that's why I gave it a B.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I see y'all had a solid draft. I mean, I don't know what's up with y'all with players that have off-the-field issues. Don't understand. I think y'all love those guys who have off-the-field issues. It's just, y'all feel like y'all can be able to help them. And I think Sam Williams is the reason why he dropped, that because of the off-the-field issues. And it's just crazy how Jerry Jones loves that. When he sees somebody with off-field issues, he just brings them up because he can't do no wrong in a Dallas Cowboy. And he'll make sure he don't
rather
do no
the
wrong
player
either.
than himself.
Facts. But you know what I'm saying? Other than that, like like most definitely. Like other than that, like you got Jalen Toller, which is understandable because y'all got receivers leaving, and Mark Cooper, Cedric Wilson of that sort is leaving. So y'all needed to find people to be able to add to that receiving core. Because at the end of the day, I'm thinking this is going to expose that. But we talk about it another day. But y'all had a solid draft. I mean, I feel like y'all really just pick players that y'all feel like is good for y'all team. Y'all always do offensive tackles. Y'all really don't have any problems of having bust as far as first round of offensive tackles. So I can see that. But other than that, y'all did a very good job. And that's all I gotta say. I can't really say much about the Cowboys. I don't really like talking about the Cowboys. So.
I think that you guys fell victim to what you've been falling victim to for many, many years. And that is the inconsistency of the Jerry Jones draft. And I don't know, because there's, reports and interviews coming out before the draft saying his son is doing the bad picks, he's doing the good picks. Whatever you guys want to lean your hat on, it's the Joneses draft form, okay? So, like you said, Ron, the picks were good. Where they were selected was awful. I think I didn't know you guys were looking to shift that left tackle to left guard. That puts things in a new perspective, clearly. I was going to say that a lot of his penalties were on pass blocking, were a lot of holding, clipping, things of that nature. And in the NFL, if you can't even hold up your own in the conference he's in, and you come to where he's at, Tulsa, correct?
Yeah.
So you can't hold your own at Tulsa. You coming into the NFL playing these NFC East guys. Yeah, good luck. So I'm happy you guys got a plan for him, because if I see him at left tackle, you might as well just scratch him off. Well, he's 21 years old, so at least put him on the bench for a little bit, let him work his way up the ladder or something. But left guard, he does have a high run block. I saw his tape on run block, and he's a monster out there, like pancaking cats. But I don't know if that plays in the conference as well. The Ole Miss pick, like Malc said, a lot of off the field issues. I don't like to involve myself with off the field stuff. Whenever you strap the helmet on, that's what you are, and you represent that on and off the field. But judging a guy this early based on that, I don't know him personally, so I wouldn't want to judge him based on what he does off the field. His talent on the field though is phenomenal. SEC guy, can't take anything away from his speed rush. It's something that would go amazing against Michael Parsons. But do I think he's a Gregory replacement?
Definitely a tough replace. These aren't easy replaces for Dallas. Like
so I'm not really seeing the full piece fit in. You know what I mean? The puzzle with that pick per se, but it's a good attempt, and we'll see what you guys do with your development. The picks you guys got this year is all betting on your player development, so we'll see. We'll definitely see.
like you both hit it on the head. Like I didn't like where they were selected. Good luck. We're betting on, like you said, the wide receiver coach, the DN coach. They've had a decent track record with some players. We don't have that much time left though. Any final remarks before we have to wrap this up in like a minute?
Final remarks is good luck to y'all. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, again, thanks KT for coming on. We have another episode dropping as well soon, so make sure to tune into that on the YouTube, the Spotify, and the Apple Music at the M&R Show. Malcolm.
Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Malc and Ron Show. We appreciate the support, and thank you, KT, for being on the show. We appreciate you. NFL guy. We love talking about it. I hate the Steelers, but